So back when I was doing my master's degree in OT, my textbook showed the autonomic nervous system. For those of you not familiar with autonomic nervous system, it's basically you're part of the nervous system that takes care of everything that happens automatically in your body. So think of your eyes blinking, your respiration, think of your kidneys, think of your heart beating. All of that happens automatically. You're not consciously aware of it, right? Now that's taken care of by the autonomic nervous system. And I was taught that autonomic nervous system has two branches, sympathetic, parasympathetic. Sympathetic is the branch when we are under stress, when there is a lion waiting to attack us. I was taught sympathetic tone increases, we go into fight, flight, freeze. And when the lion runs away or there's no longer a lion chasing me, my parasympathetic kicks in. And once the parasympathetic kicks in, that is my rest, digest, reproduction, right? But what the latest science is now showing is there's a new theory out there, or a new theory that's being released called the Polyvagal theory. And according to Polyvagal theory, it's a theory that explains a lot of behaviors that we see as humans, right? So according to Polyvagal theory, the sympathetic branch is indeed for fight and flight, but not for freeze. So think of the sympathetic branch being everything that requires you when you get angry, when you get upset, when you get scared. Think of all that energy, right? That's your sympathetic, that high tone of energy to fight something or to run away. But what this is showing is that the parasympathetic is also involved in a stress response. And it's because of something called the vagus nerve. Now we're familiar with the vagus nerve. It's one of the biggest nerve. It goes into our heart, digestion. This nerve has actually, in humans, we have the dorsal nerve and the ventral. Now, when someone is stressed, or when this child, a lot of our stress starts in our childhood. In fact, many of the stress starts in vitro, and I'll talk more about that in another one of my videos. But now, when this child is being exposed to stress, maybe at first it goes into fight, flight, it's angry at the parent. But then if anger isn't a safe emotion in that space, then the child goes into shutdown. And it's not the sympathetic that is involved in the shutdown. It's actually the parasympathetic. So the vagus nerve has something called the dorsal vagus and the ventral vagus. Now the dorsal vagus is what goes into high tone when someone experiences stress and they can't go into fight flight, so then they go into shutdown. So when you think of shutting down, think of people pleasers, that's basically the dorsal tone being really high. Now, if your dorsal vagus tone is low, that is involved in your rest and relaxation and your digestion, reproduction. So you actually want a lower dorsal vagus tone. Now, there's a third element, which is beautiful, which explains a lot of about us humans, is the ventral vagus. Now, ventral vagus is a new branch. It's not present in reptiles. It's only present in, it's not new, it's an evolved part of a vagus nerve, right? And it's only present in us humans and in mammals, basically. So now this ventral vagus nerve, guess what stimulates it? Connection. As humans, we love connections. So evolution-wise, too, we are programmed for connection. So that's a little bit about our nervous system. So understanding this now, think about when a child experiences trauma and how you, as an adult, you react when you experience stress. When that little girl, or when you were a little girl or boy, and something happened to you and you were angry, and you wanted to fight the person, or you wanted to run away, but both were not possible. What happened? You went into shutdown. A shutdown response, or an immobilization response, a freeze response. That can explain. Now, this is why polyvagal theory is so powerful, because it explains why some people, when they were exposed to situations over and over again, to situations that they didn't have much control over, how did they end up eventually just giving up, immobilizing, And this is basically what happened. The nervous system went into shutdown. Now, let's say over time you're exposed to these stresses in your childhood and your nervous system now is getting programmed. So for some of you, your nervous system was programmed. Maybe it was okay to show anger and you have all these anger and you've been programmed as a result of your trauma experiences. You've been programmed to have a high sympathetic tone. So you are quick to go into anger and you're quick to either run away. And for some of you now, it explains why you're just laid back. People think you're chill. And you literally have no emotions to what's going on in the world. You can't experience joy. You can't experience pain either because you're just numb. And this is why you're numb. It's because of the high tone in your dorsal vagus nerve. And so to heal, truly heal, to be able to experience joy again, to be able to experience peace, love, all of those emotions you want to experience, but you feel you can't, healing has to happen at the level of the nervous system. Healing has to happen at the level of the inner child. Healing has to happen at the level of transforming or rewiring this nervous system and rewiring the mental programs, the subconscious programming. That is why when people take healing and think that healing is just talk therapy, healing is just doing some coaching. No, if you have been exposed to childhood trauma, and majority of our population has, neglect, abandonment, physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, all of that, all right? If you've been exposed to any of that, you have a childhood trauma wound. And as an adult, now that personality that you say is your personality, and many folks go, this is who I am. No, this is who you are, because this is your coping behavior based on what all you were exposed to as a child. This is not who you are. And it's time to ask yourself, who am I?